How's it going, folks? My name is Jacob. I'm the Chief of Product at Check, and today we're taking a tour through job details. I'm sure you know this, but the more client and job information you try to keep in your head, the more likely you are to forget something, drop the ball, and it may potentially cost you a client. That's why Check makes job information easily accessible on one screen. So let's go ahead and dive in, see what we're talking about. Once we've set up our clients and our jobs, we can tap on a job, such as Angela Martin here, and we can see those job details. Let's start from the top. We have the due date and the address there at the top, along with a quick link to directions to pull up in Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, whichever directions app you like to use. Right beneath that, you'll see two tabs, the Details tab and the Notes tab. Now you can access these simply by swiping left or right on the screen, just like this. The Notes tab is probably what you would expect. It's a place to access and record notes for this specific job. It is not notes that are related to your client or your property, but this job specifically. Over on our Details tab, we'll start from the top here. We've got three buttons: cancel, reschedule, and complete. These are our job actions. Now the cancel button does what you might expect. It would cancel that job, which means it's no longer going to show up in your route. Now, canceling is reversible, unlike the delete button, which we'll cover later. But if you cancel a job, let's say the client changes their mind, you can simply hit restore and it'll pull that job back up and allow it to be active again. The reschedule button is super simple, brings up a calendar. You can select different dates, tap confirm, and it will reschedule to another day. And finally, we have our complete button, which is one of the most important buttons in this app. Completing sets off a chain of events, including stopping the timer. If you do have a timer running, it will go ahead and pause that time, locking that in for you. It will go ahead and add the price of the job to your client's outstanding balance, showing how much they owe, as well as your total earned metric on the Offices tab, which we'll cover in another video. And finally, it will generate an invoice for that client for the amount of the job. And if your invoice frequency settings are set to per job, it will actually send out that invoice for you automatically right then and there. Obviously, if your invoice settings are set to something else, such as per month, it will hold off on sending that to the client until the designated time. But the main takeaway is this: it's important to go ahead and tap that complete button as soon as you finish a job, and that's going to go a long way in helping you keep your business organized. Moving down the screen here, we have the job status, which will show whether or not the job is past due, active, or canceled. Just another indicator there. When we have job details right below that, we have date, services, and price, all of which you can edit simply by tapping on them. So date pulls up the reschedule tab, just as we showed when you tap the reschedule button up there. Services will allow you to add or remove services from the list, and price obviously will allow you to edit the price for that job. Beneath that, we have just a little reminder here to let you know that if you sign up to accept payments through Check, it will allow a secure payment link to be sent with the invoice for that job, allowing the clients to pay easier from their phone, from their desktop, using their credit card. And those funds will show up in your account super quickly and also be reflected in Check, removed against your client's outstanding balance, just to make sure that all of their numbers are up to date. Right beneath that, we have the client details. You'll see client, address, and repeats. So if you tap on the client, it will pull up Angela Martin's details. If you tap on the address, it will pull up the property details. And if you tap on repeats, where it says every 2 weeks, it will pull up the recurring job details. Now, obviously, if this job is a one-off job and not part of a recurring job, that won't be there. But if it is part of a recurring job sequence, you'll be able to see the details quickly. And finally, we have the delete job permanently. That will completely remove it from your job details, and you cannot undo this. So make sure that when you're tapping the delete button, you really do want to delete the job. All right, finally, we have that big blue button down at the bottom that says Start Timer. Now, starting the timer will hopefully be something that you get in the habit of doing every time you get to a new job. It will go ahead and start the counter. And that's going to keep an accurate count on how long you were at a particular job so that you can calculate things such as your effective hourly rate. If you tap stop timer, for example, let's say you need to take a phone call or the client walks out of their house and wants to chat with you for a moment, it will ask you if you want to complete the job. You can tap yes if you're done, or you can simply tap no. That will allow you to tap that resume button again when you're ready to start back up, and it will log a second time to your timer. So let's go ahead and hit stop here. I'm gonna hit no, not done. And then we're just gonna expand out real quick by tapping that 2 on the far left. And you can see both of our entries here. So I can delete an entry if it was a mistake, or I can tap on the any of those times to edit it at some point. So if I made a mistake with my timer, I can always go back and change that super easily. That is job details. Everything is all in one place. Hopefully that will save you a lot of trouble, and now you can forget about those details, but in the very best way. Have a good one.